Hello everyone, my name is Rosin, and welcome back to Newtype Netplay. It's been a while, I am so sorry. This is the video series where I take a look at my match footage for the game Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs. Maxi Booston, and just chronicle my experience playing this game. Once again, we are looking at match footage that is from before the game even came out. We are almost out of that era of these videos, I believe. Soon we will catch up to the actual game's release. And yeah, once again, I apologize for not uploading the series as often as I should have. It has been way too long since I've made another one of these, and, you know, again, I have about 100 episodes of this locked in the chamber, so I really need to be making my way through these more. By the time I'm done with this, the next Versus game is going to be out and localized and everything, I bet, which is ridiculous to think about. I want to at least get this all wrapped up before then. But yeah, I guess the only thing I want to say about that is there's a couple things to talk about with the delay, and I don't want to keep it too long and, you know, waste too much of our time here. One, just there's been a lot of life stuff. I've covered that on the channel and other places if you're interested. Check out my video titled I'm Back if you really care about the details and you haven't seen it yet. There's just been a lot of stuff going on. 2022 was a very complicated year for me. But the other thing... I'm not gonna lie, especially when it came to this series, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome, where I was just like, who the fuck am I to talk about Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs. Maxi Booston? Who wants to hear my opinion about this game and watch my match footage? And, like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the greatest at this game. I would classify myself as okay to, like, alright. You know, if someone's, like, fairly new to the game, I feel like I have the knowledge and skills necessary to pretty convincingly win, but going up against the people that really take this game seriously, that really go into the Discord communities for this game and learn the tech and research what the Japanese side of things are doing and all that stuff. Like, I do some of that stuff too, you know, I'm in a couple Discords for this game. Actually, I think just the one at this point, but even then I don't really talk in it because I'm a very, very shy man, and big Discords trigger my social anxiety like nobody's business, but, you know, every now and again I lurk and just try to learn as best I can from the people that are active in there. So, you know, if you're in the GN Resonance Discord server, shoutouts to you. I don't talk in there because I am a coward, but, you know, I appreciate all of you. It seems like a very cool server. I should honestly maybe consider talking and stuff more in there. But no, yeah, but I don't know. Eventually I reached a point that it's like, you know what, maybe I'm not the greatest at this game, but that doesn't mean that my insight or perspective or experience playing this game is any less, you know, valid or worthy of consideration than, you know, people that are better than me or whatever, and maybe even there is worth and value in being a YouTube channel that covers this game from kind of that perspective of just like, hey, I'm playing this game and I'm trying to learn and get better as I go, but I'm not the greatest at keeping up with the competitive scene as best as I could be, and you know, I try to learn where I can. I try to incorporate advanced techniques into my play, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be winning tournaments for this game anytime soon, you know? That being said, I do have footage, you will see it at some point in the series, I do have footage of me beating one of the EVO champs for this game from that tournament. So, you know, that does at least prove to me, like, oh, hey, you know, if the circumstances are right and I make some good decisions, I can actually do pretty well against very well-established players in this game. But, you know, that match also could have very well have been a fluke. It was a shuffle lobby, if I recall, so I can't really, like, you know, say it's a claim to fame or anything. But I do remember just going through and looking at footage that I've recorded, and I was like, wait, is that one of the dudes who won, that's one of the dudes who won EVO? And then I was like, oh shit, I actually won that match. And I was like, oh, damn, okay. Maybe I am okay at this game. It was a very humbling, eye-opening type of moment for me, making this series. And, you know, just looking at footage for episodes to come. So, we'll get there. Probably many episodes down the line. I think I'll have that footage for you. But I'll be sure to point it out when it happens. But enough about that. We're 5 minutes in, so we might as well talk about what's actually happening on the screen. So, At some point during the beta weekends that were happening, I was like, hey, I should try out Shining Gundam. And if I recall, Shining Gundam was a little bit of a meme in the Western community for a bit there, because it was like I think it was like every Central California player, and like just everyone was like, yo, Shining Gundam though, and like you would get a shit ton of like lobbies that are just full of Shining Gundam players. And like there's just this joke that like specifically like the SunCal FGC, everyone wanted to play Shining Gundam, which was funny. And I gotta say, Shining Gundam, very cool and interesting suit in this game. Not the most beginner friendly in my humble opinion. This suit is interesting because it is a fairly weak suit in its standard mode, and as it starts to transform, you unlock its true potential, and it becomes a very scary suit to deal with. But in its base form, it requires a lot of good movement, a lot of good patience to really use well. So in the hands of a player that doesn't necessarily know what they're doing, more often than not, it's the case that you're getting beat up a lot until you have enough resources to activate your better modes, and then you kind of go ham, and you better play well when you have the super mode and stuff activated, or else you're kind of going to be dead weight to your teammate, unfortunately. That being said, though, over the course of this game, I have fought against many Shining Gundam players that took the time to really learn what they were doing and maximize the utility of the suit. And I will say, Shining Gundam, one of the scarier suits to go up against when the player knows what they're doing. That being said, I very quickly learned during the period of recording these matches that I do not think I could ever be a Shining Gundam guy, which is a shame, because I guess to go into my history with Gundam, G Gundam was the thing that got me into Gundam as a kid, and honestly set me up for a life of being a hardcore mecha genre enthusiast. It can all be traced back to the Toonami run of G Gundam, and there we go, look at that, he pulls out the saber, has the logo on it, straight out of the opening. Absolutely love it. Beautiful. I love the Shining Gundam itself as a mobile suit. It's a childhood favorite of mine. Oh god, look at that super, just beautiful, beautiful stuff. But yeah, G Gundam got me into Gundam as a kid. I know that there's a lot of people my age, around my age, that got into it because of Wing, which obviously aired earlier on Toonami, and then G got brought over later, along with the original 0079, and then a bunch of the OVAs and stuff. I remember Wing as it aired, but I remember I would tune into it every now and again and be like, oh, I don't understand what's going on. And I remember thinking that I was too young. I remember distinctly being a child and trying to watch random episodes of Gundam Wing. And I was just like, oh, I am too young to understand this show. This is like a teenager show, and one day I'll be smart enough to understand the complicated, complex political machinations going on in Gundam Wing. Looking back as an adult, that is a very funny thought to have, because Gundam Wing is absolute clown shoes plotting all the way through. It's just a goofy time. It's not a complicated show. It's just kind of a messy show. And not very well written, which it's just funny that my interpretation of Wing as a child was like, oh, this is some galaxy brain shit. I can never hope to be smart enough with my stupid child brain to get this TV show and its complex themes and plotting and characters. Very funny looking back, and oh geez, just out of reach there on the Shining Finger. Very unfortunate. But yeah, I believe that new is going to be super overcost. And oh god, I love the suplex there. But yeah, holding off Shadow Gundam so that my friend could get the giant Garobi there. Finish off the new Gundam. Beautiful stuff. Pretty sure I'm playing with my friend Mark here, if I recall. Let's take a look at the names. Yes! Shoutouts to Mark. VIP that game. I did pretty good though. I pretty high attack score. Got a kill. Didn't die. I did good. I did good. But yes, to finish the story of my childhood, G Gundam was the one that got me into Gundam. I remember watching the first episode as it aired on Toonami and just being hooked. I followed it with like a fervor as it aired. That was like one show I remember as a kid. It's like I can't be busy when G Gundam is happening. And I remember this is actually a very precious childhood memory of mine. We had like a family vacation trip thing to Chicago. I live in the Midwest, so, you know, a lot of the times it's like, oh, family trip, Chicago's an easy thing to do, you know, just because it's a big city, and there's a lot of stuff to do there, or whatever. And I remember being so disappointed because it's like, oh, fuck, we're going to be going on this family trip to Chicago, and, like, it's going to be, like, we're going to be in Chicago the day that the final episode of G Gundam is going to air, and I remember being, like, so sad about it, but I didn't, like, want to say why, and then I think, like, my mom realized, like, something was up, and I was like, and she was like, do you not want to go? Is, like, there's something the matter? And I remember being like, final episode of my TV show is gonna be on, and I'm not gonna know what happens, and everyone at school's gonna make fun of me. And she was like, we can make sure we're back in the fucking hotel room by the time your TV show's on. I was like, yes, okay. So then, yeah, we had our little Chicago trip, and sure enough, we were back at our, if I recall, fairly fancy hotel. I remember, you know, at that time, we didn't actually have, we were struggling financially, but I remember, in fact, I think that trip might have been related to, like, my sister's birthday or something, so, like, I just remember that we had a pretty good hotel, especially considering my family situation at the time, so that was kind of nice, too. But I just remember we had, like, a really nice TV, and I was watching the final episode of G Gundam, and I was just hooked, and I was like, oh, this show's incredible, I can't believe it's over. And then later, we were out and about on the mean streets of Chicago, and I remember that I stumbled onto, like, a toy store, and they had, like, a little, they had, like, a Master Gundam figure, and I begged my mom to buy it for me, and she was like, okay, sure, and I got my very first piece of Gundam merch, which I wish I still had. I'm pretty sure I got rid of it as I got older. It was just one of those things I eventually sold off. And, you know, it's one of those childhood things where it's like, I kind of wish I held on to that one, because nowadays I am a huge Gundam model kit builder, and I you know, I have a fair share of just Gundam figures and stuff beyond the model kits, and, you know, I fucking love collecting Gundam shit and all that. So I'm a little bit sad that I don't have, oh geez, I accidentally Shining fingered my buddy there. And that is a very unfortunately worded sentence that has some implications, but I'm not going to get into that, or else YouTube will demonetize me. And yes, and also too, when you go into the super mode, you can do that sick as hell, like, beam finisher after you grab someone with the finger too. I believe that's exclusive to the super mode. Again, don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I've looked into the moveset of this guy. And got shot as I did the Shining Finger. Fortunately, it was enough to finish off the RX-78 too. But yes, as I was saying, I do wish I still had that Master Gundam figure. Because it would be cool to still have, like, the one foundational, like, childhood, like, collectible I had that you know, I didn't know at the time that Gundam was going to be one of those things that stuck with me for all these years. Like, who knows? And you know, admittedly, as I got a little bit older, I definitely had the phase growing up where I was kind of like, anime is fucking stupid, like, especially in my high school years or whatever. Which is also very silly, because I still played a bunch of, like, JRPGs and otherwise fairly weeby games and shit, but just, like, I had a phase where I'm like, nah, anime fucking sucks. Coincidentally, which was also around the time I watched Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny, which, you know, I feel like our fair shows to fall out of anime with. But yeah, you know, every now and again I feel like we all of us nerds have that shit that we were really into as kids, and then we kind of continue our love for it as an adult, and it's like, ah, damn, I wish I didn't get rid of some of my childhood things or whatever from that original love, just because it's nice to have those keepsakes around, and they're fond memories and all that. But yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. I guess we can just take a look at this here Shining Gundam footage. I was just getting clobbered there. I did not know how to move or sidestep properly to avoid my struggles, and yeah, that's again the thing with Shining Gundam. And oh geez, that finisher just looks so sick, especially when you finish the match like that. Again, when you're not very good at playing Shining Gundam, it is very easy to just feel like a dead weight, or just kind of get, you know, thrown around until you have the means to fill up your meter and go into the super mode, which is unfortunate, but you know, this was the open beta period where nobody still really knew what they were doing, and I could get away with playing suits that are a little bit trickier, so. Burning Gundam is actually, plays similarly, but I just feel like as a 3,000 cost, has a bit more going on in terms of just giving you tools and things to work with. And I feel like it's just a little bit more intuitive. Again, I do understand why a lot of people that are new to this game don't want to play the 3,000 suits, because they are a big ask and a big responsibility in a lot of ways. You are literally half of your team's life bar. But like, I know a lot of people that are like, oh, or I knew a lot of people back then that were like, oh, well, I want to play a G Gundam suit because I like G Gundam, or I want, you know, the G Gundam suits obviously are more melee oriented, and I want to learn how to get better at melee in this game. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'll play the protagonist suit from G that is the lower cost one because that's less responsibility. But in actuality, I feel like the Shining Gundam, I feel like the God Gundam, aka Burning Gundam, depending on which translation you're using, is just the better option, because you just have more stuff to work with, even though it's the 3,000 versus the 2,500. That extra 500 makes all the difference sometimes. I'm pretty sure Shining is 2,500. I am 95% sure. I'm going to look this up real quick. Geez, it's been so long since I have played this game. Yes, Shining Gundam is 25. That's what I thought. Just needed a little bit of a sanity check there. Exia versus Shining Gundam. Battle of the Melee Babies. I honestly, in a way, I feel like Exia maybe gets too much attention when people talk about new players that are a little too aggressive, don't know how to move around, and, you know, make poor decisions with ammo and stuff like. I feel like Shining Gundam players at a low level are just as prone to making the same mistakes as part of their learning and development. And in some ways, I feel like I would. I don't know. If someone was on my team and they're playing Shining, I feel like I tend to be more worried than if they're playing Exia. Though again, I feel like I always need to caveat this, because these suits both, I feel, at least in casual play, get the short end of the stick. Both of these suits can do incredible things in the hands of the right player. It's just that many people gravitate towards them as more, you know, beginner-friendly suits, and do not realize that they need to play them with a little bit more care than they may first think. But yeah, this match is looking pretty dark, unfortunately. But we're gonna activate the super mode, and it's time for a comeback. See, look at that. Just keep boosting. There we go. All the way across the map. Just boost, run up, shining finger. Excellent stuff. Sometimes the life bar can be very deceptive like that, actually, too, in this game. Because if you just take a look at the life bar for the teams, you go, oh shit, we're so far behind. But then you actually look at the mobile suit life bars of the actual enemy players, and you're like, oh, they're both close to dying. We just need to, like, tap each of them a couple times, and we win. That is a element of situational awareness I do feel like you learn and develop over the course of this game, too, is the team life bar, important to keep in mind, obviously, because it is literally the thing that determines who wins and who loses, but you also really need to weigh that against the context of the individual player health counts as well. And if you fail to take that into consideration, you're just denying yourself the full picture. Overheated there, and I'm spending way too much time throwing shit out in the air. Fortunately, that managed to work, and I hit the enemy player, but geez, yeah, I'm just leaving myself open here as a sitting duck. I'm not getting in close enough before trying to attack. Setting myself up for failure. That was a good use of burst on my part to get the extra mobility, though. I'm in super mode. Get the super. Bad super. Yeah, I deserve that. I was chasing too hard. That's okay, though, even though we're cost over. Got more than enough life to take out this Wing Zero. Gotta be careful, though. But between the two of us, I'm sure we can pin this Wing Zero down. There we go. Shining Gundam, and melee suits in general, can often be good at hitting airborne enemies at odd angles like that, where they just do not have many great options to deal with you, so sometimes you gotta use tools like that to your advantage. Got one last match here. Close out the video. Got a Burning Gundam on the other team. Ooh. I am the only non-3K suit in this match, which is always a wonderful thing to see. Oh god. This Shining Gundam is so tiny compared to Turdox, that's so great. Got Century Color Plane, iconic song. God, I fucking love Turn A Gundam so much. Wonderful show, wonderful show. And there we go, G Gundam suits fighting each other, Domon versus Domon. I do like that little combo I had going on there, where you kind of go into the Aura punches into the Shining Finger. Then yeah, honestly, I got some combos this match footage. I actually am doing a few more combo strings here than I thought I would. You know, I had the Auras into Shining Finger, and then I had whatever that sequence of melee attacks were into the suplex. Good stuff. But yeah, as you can see, we beat Shining. All we gotta do now, clear out Destiny. And we got it. Super! Ah, hit the wrong one. That Destiny is playing a dangerous game there by focusing on attacking me rather than escaping. Oh, look at that. Look at... Oh, Destiny's tried so hard to stay airborne. Get out of the fight. You gotta come down eventually. You can't boost forever. Oh, what's happening? Uh-oh. The connection's dying. Fate itself is trying to delay the inevitable, but we won. I forgot about like that match came back to me as soon as I saw that Destiny go airborne. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one because that was a funny end to the match there. You tried, little big weirdo. You tried, but yeah. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Have a good night. See ya.